Part 87. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 864. Without pressure, there is no motivation. I am destined not to be promoted to a powerful person in the second level, because I want the venerable to be directly promoted to a star. Then if I fight against the top geniuses at the venerable level, the disadvantage will be too great, and there is still a long way to go. After browsing through a lot of information about Genius Battlefield, Jia Yan crouched on the ground with some solemnity. Although he had known for a long time that even the senior who passed on to him was outclassed by the top geniuses at that time in this Genius Battlefield, Jia Yan was not very worried that he would fall to that point, but now after actual analysis, he felt that his situation might be worse than that of his predecessors at the time. The senior was once promoted to the star level by a powerful person in the second level, but he has reached the level of a strong person in the second level and has not done much in this Genius Battlefield. Jia Yan wants to use his venerable body to achieve that of the senior. Things that have not been done are a bit difficult in Jia Yan's opinion. But it's the difficulties that give you the motivation to do it, isn't it? The more difficulties are faced, the more Jia Yan becomes more powerful. Master, the 132nd Genius Sector is coming soon. Just as Jia Yan was thinking, Adisha jumped out and interrupted his thoughts. Are we there? Okay. If you want to do something that even the seniors can't do, you have to start from a small place. I believe I can do it. Jia Yan stood up. 132 Genius Star District. This star district is not much different from 215 star district in the entire Genius Battlefield. They are both remote star districts on the edge. But there is a difference between remoteness and remoteness. In particular, the 215th sector is the most remote among the remoteness. For the geniuses in the 132th sector, it is also an object of ridicule. Did you hear about it? Some time ago, in the so-called 215th star district, an honorable man defeated a strong man from the next level. It made me laugh. There are too many weird things in that remote place. It is simply one of the weirdest things. Land. I also heard that I had a quarrel with the geniuses from the 215th star district on the internet. They said that the genius who defeated the strong person in the second level was a high-level genius, haha. I almost burst out laughing at that time. What kind of high-level genius? Are they the high-level geniuses from their 215th sector? I almost rolled with joy. I still want to have high-level geniuses in a small remote sector. It is really too backward and has never been seen in the world. Several geniuses are flying in the sky. Their strength is extremely terrifying, especially one of them, who is a space genius. With one step, he can drive the geniuses around him to travel across a distance of dozens of kilometers. Traveling within a short distance can be considered extremely fast. Way. This is a group of geniuses who went to a place where a certain force in the 132 star district held a genius battle. Genius battles are extremely popular in the Genius Battlefield, and they are not all as big as those held by the Urshan forces in the 215th sector. Instead, every force often holds them. A group of geniuses like this go to one force. Held, only some venerables were invited to participate. This group of geniuses were the ones invited by that force. Just above the path they were flying on, a huge aircraft slowly flew out of the universe. There is an aircraft ahead, stop. Some of the sharp-eyed among the powerful men shouted loudly when they saw the appearance of the huge battleship. The space genius who controlled the flight quickly stopped, but was still a little slower. Several strong men slammed into the surface of the huge battleship. A collision of light rang out in the sky, almost making a small sun appear in the starry sky. Fortunately, the talented people in that space had already withdrawn their strength. The collision only looked scary, and none of them were injured. And a faint defensive light film appeared on the surface of the battleship, without even a mark. Who is it? Bastard, You dare to fly a warship in a no-fly zone. As soon as the genius masters stopped to slow down, they began to curse fiercely. Sorry everyone, I'm new to this place and don't understand the navigation rules here. At this moment, the hatch on the battleship opened, and a dark flying monster figure flew out of the battleship, and then came to this group of venerables. Apologize. Is it okay to just apologize? Boy, I think you are also a venerable person. Come on, let's have a fight, or you can pay for our losses. You must know that we are going to participate in a genius battle. Now we are injured. Go ahead, don't even think about leaving without giving some energy supplies as compensation. The several venerables looked at each other. At the same time, they did not feel that there was anyone above the venerables in the huge battleship, and they suddenly became arrogant. Compensation. There was a faint luster in the eyes of the creature that flew out. It looked at the venerable man who was asking for compensation, making the other person shrink his neck involuntarily. But thinking that the number of venerables he had here was 5, and the other party only had 1 person, he suddenly became bolder again. That's right, it seems you don't want to compensate, right? Then let's fight, you fight 5 of us alone, or 5 of us fight you alone, whichever you choose. Isn't this different? The flying monster was startled, and then looked at the somewhat shabby monster, as if he had seen something strange. This flying monster was none other than Jia Yan. He had just arrived in the 132-star district. After seeing the flying monsters here, he wanted to get close to them and ask about the situation in the 132-star district, but he did not want to encounter a rare cosmic car accident. You want to challenge me to a duel? Are you sure? Jia Yan looked at them in surprise. The other party was indeed a group of powerful geniuses, but none of them surpassed the top 10 sages in the 215 sector. With Jia Yan's current strength, even if they go together, they will definitely not be able to pose much of a threat to him. Yes, come on, you choose to challenge the 5 of us, right? The 5 great sages dispersed and looked at Jia Yan eagerly. Seeing how skillfully they cooperated, it seemed that similar things were happening frequently. Ha! Since you want to fight, let's have a fight. Jia Yan shook his head. Attack! One of the venerables shouted loudly and then rushed towards Jia Yan. This monster looked like a leopard. Different from the leopard monsters Jia Yan had seen before, it had eyes all over its body. When looking at Jia Yan, he felt a tingling sensation. There are so many monsters that he has seen, and Jia Yan has long been accustomed to this disgusting feeling. He pounced. Although he looked scary, his strength was only average. When he rushed in front of Jia Yan gave way slightly, and then slapped the leopard monster with his front foot, sending it flying for more than 10 kilometers. Before the monster could fly more than 10 kilometers, the next monster came again. Jia Yan followed his example and knocked him away again. What a great boy! Look at my space talent! Seeing Jia Yan's strength, the space-talented master stepped into the starry sky with one step. Then his whole figure seemed to have a speed bonus, and he rushed towards Jia Yan in an instant. His spatial talent is not enough to allow him to enter the subspace, and he is almost a master of tricks in front of Jia Yan. I saw a front foot piercing into the subspace in the void, destroying the space orbit of the monster, and then the space-talented master rolled and flew out of the starry sky. At that moment, Jia Yan moved his front leg slightly, knocking the star-talented master away. Well, the 2 great sages behind him were immediately stunned. Now they don't know where they are, and they have hit a brick wall. If you don't go up, I will. Jia Yan didn't let them go, and after smiling lightly, he entered the subspace. The next moment, he appeared behind an uninjured venerable, and with a slight wave of his hind legs, he knocked the venerable away. No, I admit defeat. The last venerable leader quickly bowed his head and admitted defeat before Jia Yan came to the front. We don't have any deep grudges, so we can just admit defeat. After Jia Yan nodded, he stopped attacking. In fact, he did not seriously injure the other venerables. He only caused minor injuries to them and made them unable to continue attacking. This further reflects Jia Yan's huge crushing strength compared to his opponent. After the several great sages felt each other's injuries, they all looked at Jia Yan differently. With the 5 great sages working together, they thought that the ordinary strong men in the second level would not be able to fight them, but now they were defeated like this by a venerable they had never seen before. Everyone, I would like to ask, is this the 132nd star district? Jia Yan came to the 5 venerables and asked calmly. You are indeed not a genius in our star region. Let me tell you, except for a few mid-level geniuses, no one has your strength. The space talent expert showed a look of understanding in his eyes, and then said with a sigh of relief. I see, this lord's strength is unmatched even by those moderately gifted venerables. He's awesome, awesome. Sir, we are in the 132th sector. I wonder what you are planning to do when you come to our sector? Is it another genius coming to challenge our sector? The leopard-headed man looked at Jia Yan and asked. Are there many strong outsiders coming to challenge you in your 132th sector? Jia Yan caught the key points of the leopard-headed strongman's words, then turned around and asked. Although his mosquito head was not ferocious, but combined with the terrifying strength he showed before, it caused a huge impact on the leopard-headed warrior. He nodded quickly. That's right, sir, our 132nd star district is the best among the low-level genius star districts in this coordinate. Many geniuses from the surrounding middle-level forces come to challenge us whenever they have nothing to do. Every time, we will challenge the geniuses here. You will leave happily after picking them all over. You must be such a genius too. Well. Jia Yan burst out laughing. I originally thought that these 132 star districts were very powerful, but they have indeed become stronger among the surrounding low-level genius star districts, but they have also become a favorite in the eyes of the mid-level star districts. It seems that any low-level star region has a lot of bitter history. Yes, I am also such a genius. Okay, I just heard you say that you are going to participate in a genius battle, right? Take me there. I will first see the strength of you 132 star geniuses. Jia Yan nodded ambiguously, neither admitting that he was a genius in the middle star area nor denying it. Anyway, he came here just for training, and there was no need to tell his true origins. Okay, sir, we will show you the way. To Jia Yan's expectation, the 5 great sages showed him the way and introduced him to Jia Yan without any resistance. These 132 star districts are used to being bullied by geniuses from the mid-range star districts. Thanks to Brother Asukajuing for another 1000 starting coin reward as a thank you. This chapter has 200 more words as a gift. I would also like to thank the book friend Devilboy for the tip. Thank you Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito author, Bulletin U. Chapter 865. Because Star District 132 is still stronger than Star District 215 and other districts, the geniuses in the Star District here are also more active. Sir, don't underestimate us. The geniuses here are weaker than geniuses like you, but there are also strong ones in the 132th sector. I wonder if you have heard of Lord Luz. He is now driving a cargo warship for a large genius force. He is a driver. You must know that it is a big force, it must be awesome. The few sages who flew with Jia Yan were almost beaming when they talked about the geniuses in the 132nd sector. The one who drives a cargo warship. Jia Yan was slightly amused. Driving a cargo warship seems to be nothing, right? Star District 132 actually used this to brag. But he doesn't know that driving cargo warships for large forces requires extremely powerful talents. Among the geniuses in the 132 star districts, there is really only one genius who has gone to a large power. Of course, he will be brought up to make excuses. Of course, Even if Jia Yan knew the difficulty of this, he wouldn't feel so envious. After all, he is a being who is ready to be compared with top geniuses. Compared with such a being, even a large force is not too scary. Tae Tan's opponent is just a freight driver of a large force. Okay, we're almost there. Sir, you must be a genius from a middle power, right? You helped us feel proud in the past. Even if you don't say that you are from our power, you can also say that you are a brother of several of us. In the future, it's easier to get along in the 132-star area. The few sages who were with Jia Yan could be said to have forgotten their hatred just after the fight, and they quickly became brothers with Jia Yan. Under their guidance, Jia Yan arrived outside a huge artificial star. This is a star that does not look like an ordinary star. It is about 500 kilometers in diameter, which is much larger than the star of Wuxi's force. And there is a unique place, that is, there is a huge tornado sweeping above their star at all times. Sir, this is the headquarters of a powerful force in our 132-star district, the tornado force. You see, many geniuses came here today because he is holding a genius competition. After the leopard monster's explanation, Jia Yan understood the information of organizing the force. Haha, your 5 brothers from the Knights are finally here. Just when these powerful monsters were introduced to Jia Yan, a powerful man who looked like a venerable flew up from within the tornado force. This is a venerable person, whose strength is about the same as that of several other venerable people around Jia Yan. Come on, we haven't seen each other for half a year. The last time we met was during the genius battle of the Yellow Star Forces. Today I will do my best as a landlord and treat you to a good meal. Let's go. The venerable came to the 5 great venerables, and then talked to the 5 great venerables next to Jia Yan. Who is this brother? How come I haven't seen him before? But he must be an extremely terrifying strong man to be with you 5 powerful men. Let's go, eat and drink together, and then go to participate in the competition. The venerable monster took Jia Yan and others to eat, drink and have fun. Why aren't you nervous? You don't mind the Star Zone Genius battle? Jia Yan asked curiously. Haha, sir, you don't know that we have a lot of genius battles in the 132-star district. Every once in a while, there are forces holding genius battles. We only join for fun. Except for the official genius battles, we don't care. The space master among the 5 masters explained to Jia Yan. Oh, when Jia Yan heard this, he nodded with some understanding. I had a similar feeling in Sector 215 before, but it was just better than here. Under the guidance of the Tornado Force Venerable who led the way, Jia Yan and the 5 great sages descended to the Tornado Star together. Because the star is large enough, many talented and powerful people survive here. A fierce wind blows on the star, which doesn't mean much, just for aesthetics or something. There are 10.5-star powerhouses, 2 of them are even more powerful than King Urshan of the Naertian force. When Jia Yan went down to the ground, he felt the power of the strong man in the star. He quickly restrained his power for fear of attracting the other party's attention. Although he agreed to fight with King Er, it was a few months later, and now he can't defeat King Er, let alone the powerful half-star powerhouse King Bill. That's the most famous tornado fish in our tornado force. Come and eat. The strong man who took Jia Yan and others went to a store and ordered a meal. Jia Yan saw that the so-called tornado fish was actually a light group similar to energy. Then he turned back in surprise and looked at the tornado flying into the sky above the star. A wonderful artistic conception emerges in my heart. This tornado fish was a ball of light, so Jia Yan ate it as soon as he sucked it. Hey, brother, that's not how tornado fish is eaten. The venerable man who entertained the monsters immediately swallowed the tornado when he saw Jia Yan. He was a little nervous and wanted to stop it, but was a step too slow. Several great sages looked at Jia Yan, and the 5 defeated generals were also a little nervous. They didn't have any feelings, and now they were worried about Jia Yan, the friend they had just met. It tastes good. After Jia Yan took a sip, his compound eyes lit up. Brother, don't you feel bloated? There is a lot of energy in this tornado fish. When we eat it slowly. Even the venerable people who eat like you can't do it. It seems that you are not just an ordinary venerable person. The venerable tornado force who entertained all the monsters was shocked, and now he took a good look at the uninvited venerable Jia Yan. The more he looked, the more shocked he became, because he couldn't see that the strength of the venerable Jia Yan seemed to be much stronger than him. Haha, are you surprised? This brother is a genius from the middle star area that we just met, the leopard monster explained to the tornado force's venerable eel. Of course, they didn't know any more information about Jia Yan. It turns out he is a genius from a middle power. He is amazing, the venerable man nodded with sudden realization. It must not be a good thing for a genius from the mid-level star sector to come to their elementary star sector. It is a big taboo to make shallow friends and talk deeply, which is also a big rule among strong people. In this banquet, Jia Yan didn't say anything. At the same time, he also found that the 5 great sages and the venerable from the tornado force didn't say much either. Secret stuff. Okay, the genius battle held by our force will be held later. I will go there first. Don't come on stage to challenge me later. Let me stand more. The genius from the tornado force left not long after. Jia Yan also left after chatting with the 5 powerful men again. He didn't have much friendship with these 5 great sages. Since he was leading the way, he didn't need them. There are also many powerful people in this force, about 200 to 300, which are as many as the venerable ones in Wu Xi's force. Jia Yan was amazed when he saw the strength of this tornado force. It was much stronger than the Wu Xi force and even the Naertian force. This venerable little brother, are you going to participate in the Star District Genius competition? There are still places. There are many prizes, and you will be rewarded if you participate. A Sichuan strongman grabbed Jia Yan on the road. Looking at his hopeful look, it seemed that Jia Yan was a fragrant steamed bun and wanted to fight for it. Oh, I want to participate, but I don't know what the reward is. The rewards are absolutely generous. For example, this high-grade energy fluid can be used on battleships, which can fly a light year. There are also lubricating fluids, maintenance fluids, and entertainment game consoles, etc. There are many, many prizes. That time, Guanqiang said a lot to Jia Yan regardless of whether he really wanted it or not. Jia Yan shook his head after seeing the prize, and sighed in his heart that this was indeed a genius competition organized by this force alone, and the prize was really out of reach. But Jia Yan is better than nothing. After all, he came to this sector just to fight. As for prizes, it would be nice to have them, especially for the Edisha that is following the starry sky. Some maintenance liquids would be good. After asking some more questions, Jia Yan applied for registration. And the situation he knew was quite interesting, because the rules were too lax. Therefore, the tornado force's battle of geniuses in the star area has been almost half done, but now there are strong people who want to. If you want to challenge, you can challenge. By the way, can I take on a cross-level challenge? Jia Yan seemingly casually asked the second-level expert who invited him to join the battle. Challenge beyond the next level? Yes, it's okay. After all, there are some geniuses from medium-level forces in our sector who often come to challenge. This kind of detail is just for them. What? Could it be that you, little brother, are also? That time when Guanqiang heard Jia Yan ask this, he couldn't help but look at Jia Yan in shock. No matter how you look at it, this flying monster doesn't seem to be a being capable of overcoming levels of challenge. Haha, I don't know whether it is true or not. Jia Yan just made a haha, and then headed towards the area pointed by the other party. Jia Yan had already heard the bursts of killing cries there. The waves of energy fluctuations made Jia Yan feel a little shocked in his heart. What was going on here happened to be a battle between the strong men in the second level. In this tornado force, there was originally a battle for the masters, but this time for some reason, a battle for the next level strong ones was held. This made it more difficult to ensure safety, and the tornado forces spent a lot of energy. Well done. Among the tornado forces, a tall lion-like monster shouted loudly, and then asked the green monster next to him with great respect, "Sir, this Guangqiang Jiao battle has been held as you said. Don't you want to fight again?" The cyan monster he was asking about was a lizard-like monster. At this moment, he was eating a high-grade tornado fish lightly. Although the energy emitted was at the peak level of a venerable, there was a touch of disdain in his eyes. "These few times, the powerful ones have not been strong enough for me, just wait a little longer." He glanced down, and then laughed disdainfully. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 866. Chapter 40. A strong talker. Seeking genuine subscription. Jia Yan took the registration spreadsheet he got from the strong man that time and went to the center of the city where the tornado force was located. "Sir, sign up here." A female Sichuan strongman made a sweet voice and called Jia Yan from a distance. Jia Yan walked over. His huge body does not appear to be very big in this city with many huge monsters, so it looks like he has arrived from the country of Lilliputians and the country of giants, and everything around him has become normal. "Hello, you are going to join the war, right? Do you need me to lead you?" When the strong female sub-monster saw Jia Yan's appearance, she felt his youth and asked him with more respect. "Yes, I'm participating." Jia Yan handed over the registration form. After the other party read it, he let him in. Inside this huge building is a huge viewing platform. In order to adapt to the battle of the strong men in the second level, an area with a diameter of more than 100 kilometers has been designated as a combat area. This alone is not enough, there is even a starry sky part. It is designated as a combat area, which means that when the beings of the sub-level strong level fight, they can fly into the star area to fight. Jia Yan entered the player channel. At the same time that Jia Yan entered the passage and showed up at the player's bench, the cyan monster high up on the viewing platform was slightly startled. As a powerful genius, his perception ability is extremely terrifying. It's interesting that in this small tornado force, you can also meet such a genius. He looked at the direction Jia Yan entered with some surprise, and then saw Jia Yan's true body. At the same time, Jia Yan, who entered the contestant's box, was a little shocked when he felt the aura of a strong man with a different sound. This was not the aura exuded by a powerful being. It was difficult for Jia Yan to describe this feeling. It was like a powerful monster surging with life, which posed a great sense of threat to him. Of course, that's all. The owner of this power seems to be a venerable person. At the same time, his power cannot be compared with that of a half-star, which is just a surprise to Jia Yan. Looking at the high platform and seeing the energy shielding device there, Jia Yan gave up the idea of using brute force and stopped watching. On the stage, there are two strong men from the second level fighting. We need to take a good look at this. Jia Yan's eyes suddenly lit up when he saw the two powerful men fighting on the stage. These two strong men are two genius-level masters with good strength. One is gifted with gravity. When he steps down, he can cause dozens of times of gravity change at the center point of the foot. Of course, this change in gravity has a limited range. The farther away it is, the weaker it becomes. Jia Yan got rid of the entanglement after seeing his opponent jump away in a few steps. The opponent on the other side is an armored monster with an extremely heavy body. He is like a beetle on the earth. His defense is terrifyingly powerful. Apart from this, he does not have many talents, but this powerful defense is enough for him to travel around the world. It's scary. It's hard for me to deal with these two powerful men without using my space talent. Especially the armored monster. In my opinion, it's impossible to penetrate his defense without using the sharpened feet of Azure defense. Jia Yan looked a little sighing after seeing the battle between these two great geniuses. Their strength is too strong, and they are also a terrible threat to Jia Yan. Of course, Jia Yan does not think that he will lose. If he can defeat even a genius and a half-star strong person, how can he still lose to him? It would be ridiculous to be a strong person of this level. In short, he realized that the strong men in these two major sub-levels were not weaker than the top 3 strong men in the sub-levels in the 215-star area. Wu Xi's force had lost the last few strong men in the sub-levels. It's quite interesting to see two strong men with different talents and advantages fighting, especially since their talents are not compatible with each other, and it's a bit interesting to see them fighting against each other in a battle of wits and courage. Jia Yan knew that he was stronger than these two powerful men, but he still watched with gusto. This may be the biggest difference between him and the Saiyan Venerable on the high platform. Die. The armored monster relied on its strong defense to push against the gravity expert, and then broke off one of his feet. The armored car wins. The referee on the sidelines immediately announced the end of the fight. Interesting, these two powerful men are very powerful, and their attack methods are also something I have never seen before. This battle is not in vain. Jia Yan enjoyed watching it very much. After all, as a pen observer, he gained a lot from being able to witness such a powerful battle. And the Saiyan Venerable on the high platform, seeing the end of the battle between the strong men of the second level, burst out with a disdainful smile. It seemed that because he thought he was stronger than the two strong men of the second level, he didn't feel any concern at all. What benefits can you get from the opponent's battle? Did you see the black flying monster below? If he goes out to fight, tell me. The female monster I have arranged for you to go down there to play, haha. The Saiyan lizard stopped watching the battle and hugged a female monster on the side who also looked like a lizard, and then walked off the high platform amidst the laughter of the other party. Jia Yan didn't know that the green monster on the high platform had taken a fancy to him, but instead watched the next battle between the lords with relish. Perhaps this is the difference between Jia Yan and other powerful monsters. Not only does he have talent, but he also has the spirit of not looking down upon others and being able to gain experience and ideas from any battle between strong men. In this case, his strength will become stronger faster than other strong men with the same talent. This battle with the Venerable was also good. I felt that his attack was somewhat similar to my foot attack. I was able to absorb it as a good modification to my fighting style. Jia Yan watched several battles between the Venerables and sighed that each one was rewarding. The next match is a mysterious new talent from the outside world, Jia Yan. He will fight against our venerable genius from the 132nd Star District, Yiji. After Jia Yan's name was announced on the spot, the green lizard monster appeared with the female lizard in his arms. Let me see if my feeling is wrong. The Saiyan lizard moved its feet around the female lizard's body while looking coldly at the situation below. Jia Yan slowly stepped into the fighting circle, the same familiar place, the same feeling of fighting. This made Jia Yan sigh. He seemed to have a lot of fate with similar places. He was always in the arena and so on. Even the feeling of actual combat was much weakened. But it doesn't matter. When I reach the star level, what other arena will there be in the outside world? It's all a battle of life and death, because no force can withstand the arena battle between two star levels, and no force will destroy the star level. Treat the fight as an arena fight. After Jia Yan went to the battlefield, he saw a monster floating like a ghost coming to his side. This monster is about 50 meters in size, which is considered small even among the venerables. Boy, you are from the outside world and come to the 132-star sector, right? How about letting me win? I need the points from the star sector war. You are a person from the outside world and you don't need the points from our star sector. It's fine. You are willing to let me win. If so, I will give you a good energy stone. This ghostly monster came to power and bribed Jia Yan. The surrounding spectators could actually hear this, but they did not show any surprise or anger at all. No matter what method is used, as long as the geniuses in the Star Wars win one-on-one, they will win. Talking and deceiving are also a type of victory. Haha, energy stone? I'm not interested at the moment. Let's just fight. When Jia Yan saw that the other party was a monster he had never seen before, he was a little wary at first, but after hearing the other party's behavior, he no longer worried about anything. No matter what kind of strong person he is, as long as his mind is weak, Jia Yan doesn't think he will be that strong. Puff. After Jia Yan finished speaking, he made a move and flew towards the other party lightly. But this light and graceful movement seems slow, but in fact it is extremely fast. A distance of several hundred kilometers can be reached in an instant. Hey, this powerful gentleman, you can't be so rude. I want to have a good talk with you. The Ghost Lord rolled around in embarrassment, and then distanced himself as if running for his life. Jia Yan didn't even use 10% of his strength. The opponent was almost begging for mercy. Jia Yan almost smiled bitterly. For him, there was no need to fight for this kind of venerable person. He could solve it with just one blow. But just when Jia Yan continued to move, trying to attack the opponent's vital points, the strong man actually spoke again. Jia Yan. Your name is Jia Yan, right? Yeah, that's a good name. Mr. Jia Yan, how about we stop? I won't reveal anything about you. At this time, Jia Yan's expression suddenly shook, and then his expression became serious. He had never told his name before, and he had not been honest when registering, but this Ghost Lord was able to reveal his name in one breath. What on earth is it? Jia Yan, this is a strong talker. Just when Jia Yan was a little surprised, a familiar voice suddenly came from the player's bench. Jia Yan looked back and saw that the 5 great sages who had been separated before were also on the player's bench, as well as the venerable tornado force who entertained them. It was natural that they would appear, but now Jia Yan was surprised by their words. A strong talker. Jia Yan was a little shocked. Is there really such a professional and powerful person in the world? Too strong. Haha, Jia Yan, you are, well, you come from a place far, far away. You are awesome, and your origins are awesome. Let me see, let me see. The strong-mouthed man was floating around like a ghost, and then he was mumbling something. This talkative man is probably a bit clever. But he probably doesn't really tell fortunes. Instead, he can tell some details about me through some of my actions and appearance. But this kind of thing is not common for us. For a living creature, it's amazing. Jia Yan looked at the monster and analyzed it. This monster is not very powerful. As long as Jia Yan hits him, he can defeat or even kill him with any blow. But now Jia Yan is a little interested. He has never seen anything like this kind of ghost power in the starry sky. Thanks to the book Friends of Tips from Pirate Readers for the tip. By the way, this name is awesome, but I would like to have a genuine subscription, thank you. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito author, Bulletin U. Chapter 867. Jia Yan. Your home planet is a blue planet. Your parents, let me see, it's not right. How could it be? The ghost monster was floating while calculating Jia Yan's affairs, but when it came to his family, it got stuck. Jia Yan smiled. This ghost-like venerable man has some abilities, and he may have really figured out the appearance of his parents, or the appearance of his real parents in his heart, so when he saw that his parents were actually two Earthlings, he was a little confused. How could it be? How could your past be like this? The powerful ghost man was a little stunned. He indeed had some ability and could figure out Jia Yan's past and certain things. That's not right. Every strong person and everything they do will leave traces in the long river of time, but how come your traces are so extraordinary? The strong ghost man was floating and almost fell to the ground. Jia Yan calmly approached the powerful ghost, and then he stretched out his front legs. Puff! The powerful ghost screamed and fell from the air. It turned out that he couldn't bear the blow from Jia Yan and was directly injured. Jia Yan, you did a good job. All the acquaintances on the sidelines applauded Jia Yan's victory. The existences of the venerable level around him were a little surprised by Jia Yan's strength. This strong-mouthed man was a pretty good existence among the tornado forces. The most special thing is that his ability can actually calculate the small details of a strong man. Sometimes just relying on his mouth can make him ruined or even die, so he is nicknamed the strong man with his mouth. But Jia Yan seemed to be toying with the opponent, leaving no room for him to show off. Of course, it's not that Jia Yan is really not afraid of this ability, but the genius battlefield is still unfamiliar to him, and he has nothing to hide. Even if his origin is known, it would not be surprising. Yes, even if his biggest secret, that is, the huge secret that he was originally an Earthling and turned into a mosquito, was publicized, Jia Yan had nothing to be afraid of. After all, this is a genius battlefield, and they are not familiar with the people on Earth. What will they do if they know? To put it bluntly, his transformation from one life form to another is not unusual. In this genius battlefield, there are even stranger talented people. This is not shocking at all. Jia Yan, I know your secret. It turns out you are from star 215, the ghostly strongman had just given up and wanted to tell Jia Yan some secret. But before that, Jia Yan threw out his brainwave power. Well. The strong ghost man immediately shut up. He had just analyzed Jia Yan's origins, and now he wanted to speak, but was covered up by Jia Yan's brainwave power, so he did not dare to speak. Sorry, I offended you. If you are free later, we will meet in private. Jia Yan apologized to the powerful ghost and then discussed meeting with him. Jia Yan was a little curious about this strange magic-like ability. After all, in this universe, real magic cannot exist, and if this strong man can do such a thing, there must be some inside story or principle. Okay, I'll wait for you on the sidelines. The strong ghost man agreed. Jia Yan wins and advances to the next round. Jia Yan heard the host on the sidelines shout, and then he walked off the stage. When he got to the sidelines, he spoke to a staff member. Are you sure you want to do this? The official staff member of the talent war asked Jia Yan in astonishment that day. I am sure. After receiving Jia Yan's affirmative answer, the staff member quickly left his post, as if he was busy with something else. Jia Yan arrived at the players' bench, where 6 sages were already waiting on the ground. Lord Jia Yan, your strength is indeed extraordinary. Although the strength of the strong talker is not strong, many strong ones cannot match his ability of talking, and he was defeated. The leopard monster congratulated Jia Yan. The strength of this powerful ghost is indeed very strange. Do you know what his strength is? If he can even guess his opponent's past, wouldn't it be too overbearing? Jia Yan was very curious about the ability of the powerful ghost. Although he was only a sage, he could vaguely see the terrifying power of this ability. Don't worry, Mr. Jia Yan, his ability is shocking to everyone who sees it for the first time, but in fact, his ability has a huge flaw, that is, his ability, the loss of energy is huge, and he can't remember the words he said, that is, seeing his opponent's past, so as long as he detects your past and prevents him from telling the scene, he won't be able to remember it after a few minutes. Live. And for a strong person, his ability needs to wait several months before he can use it for the second time. I see although Jia Yan's threat to this ability has weakened a lot after hearing about the other party's flaws, he still feels magical. By the way, you have all signed up, how are the results? Jia Yan asked casually when he saw these monsters in the contestants' seats. Haha, don't worry, sir. Although our strength cannot be compared with yours, we can win 1 or 2 games without any problem. The leopard monster laughed happily at Jia Yan, and it seemed that he had not lost. Jia Yan is not too surprised. The strength shown by these monsters before is naturally incomparable with Jia Yan, but it is also better than most of the venerables in this sector competition. Did you see the venerables battle just now? It was interesting. While Jia Yan was chatting with a group of venerables, in the small VIP room on the high platform, the green lizard monster became interested while hugging the female lizard. Sir, do you think you are interested in him? It is a rare thing for this venerable person to arouse your interest. Do you want me to arrange him as your opponent? The strong man from Sichuan who accompanied the lizard monster respectfully asked the lizard monster. No need, why am I, a moderate genius, fighting against a venerable man? Let's see, if he has the strength to fight against a powerful person at the next level, I might be able to give him some pointers. Although the lizard monster was a little curious about Jia Yan, he had no intention of taking action. Yes, your master's strength must be extremely terrifying to him, but if he wants to take action against a strong person in the second level, it is impossible for him to have such strength. That time, when the strong man Guan was about to continue saying something, he heard a certain strong man coming forward. Huh? He really applied for a battle with a strong person from the second pass? How is that possible? That time Guan Qiang was a little shocked. It turned out that Jia Yan's previous conversation with the staff member was actually about applying to fight a strong person from the second level. This first match against a venerable level was just a training session. His own purpose is to come to the alien area, fight with some strong men, and improve his strength. Now, of course, we have to attack the strong ones in the second level. Depending on the situation, it is possible that he will fight against a semi-star powerhouse next. Oh? He actually applied for a fight with a strong person from the second level? I'm right, the lizard monster let go of the female lizard and looked squarely at Jia Yan below. While Jia Yan was on the ground, he always felt that there were eyes in the room looking at him, but they were just secretly on guard, but not too worried. After observing Jia Yan for a long time, the lizard monster above finally gained some fighting spirit. It seems that this flying monster is not that simple. I really have some ideas to give him some advice. Let's see if he can win the next battle. Please arrange for him to be the weakest sub-level strongman. Or, I'm afraid he will lose in one game. Okay, the second level expert who accompanied this talented expert nodded. The venerables on the player bench below entered the stage again and again. Even the 5 venerables who were familiar with Jia Yan also appeared one by one. But their performance gradually deteriorated. After all 5 people lost, the Tornado Force venerable monster who was familiar with them also lost. Master Jia Yan, our strength can only go so far. I hope you can win next. Several great sages retreated to the sidelines, and then encouraged Jia Yan in some depression. Your strength is already pretty good. I think in this Star Zone Genius battle, you are at least an upper middle level venerable. Moreover, your strength lies in your joint attack. Even a powerful person at the second level may not dare to take it. The strength of your combined attack. Don't be too disappointed, Jia Yan comforted them. This group of venerables has done well. To Jia Yan, they are all mid to upper level venerables. If they are placed in the 215th sector, they might all be able to enter the top 10 in the Sage level sector battle. Thank you for your encouragement, sir. But, sir, why haven't you come on stage yet? The battle at the venerable level is almost over. After the leopard monster thanked Jia Yan, he looked at the competition behind him in a strange way. Over the field, there was a huge holographic sign showing the name of the next battler. But no matter how much he waited, there was no news of Jia Yan playing. Of course there is no my name, because I have already declared to fight against the strong men from the next level. Jia Yan said lightly. Well. Several great sages stared at Jia Yan blankly. They all knew Jia Yan's strength, and they had said before that Jia Yan could fight a strong person from the second level, but in fact, they didn't really think that Jia Yan would fight a strong person from the second level. Because that's what true geniuses do. It seems that Mr. Jia Yan really has his heart as high as the sky. I hope you will be careful next time. Although our 132th star district is an elementary star district, there are still many strong people, especially those in the second level. Their strength is not even high. It's too bad. You should be careful when you encounter them. The leopard monster said something solemn to Jia Yan. I know. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 868. The battle at the venerable level is over, and next is the battle between the strong men at the next level that everyone wants to see. The competition continues, and it will be even more exciting. When Jia Yan just responded, these monsters all heard that the holographic screen of the competition field showed that today's battle of the venerable level was over, and next was the battle of the next level of the strong. The first scene, Jia Yan versus the White Ape Clan, Yuan Wu. And I don't know if it was a coincidence, but the first battle between a strong person from the second level was actually between Jia Yan and a strong person from the second level who looked like a white ape. Haha, it's my turn. Thank you for your encouragement. Then I'll get on. Jia Yan looked at the screen, not too surprised. After moving his body, he stepped out towards the high platform. The group of venerables did not expect Jia Yan to leave so simply and without any warm-up. It seemed that he was facing the next powerful person as if it was a normal battle, without any worries at all. Do you see, this is a powerful genius. Geniuses like ours may be famous in the outside world, but in the genius battlefield, they are far different from this kind of genius. The leopard monster looked at Jia Yan with some envy. The other great sages all had the same expression. Outside the starry sky, the geniuses in the genius battlefield are all the focus of attention and are extremely confident. But after arriving in the genius battlefield, the difference between real geniuses and weak geniuses becomes apparent. Most geniuses become, instead of being mediocre, some truly powerful geniuses have become middle-level geniuses, or even high-level geniuses. Of course, top geniuses must also be extremely dazzling in the outside world. They will show their differences as soon as they enter the genius battlefield. With such top geniuses, these great sages would not dare to expect to be able to compare with them from the outside world. The feeling that Jia Yan gave them now was that of a mid-level genius or a strong person. Haha, have you seen the VIP room? It is said that a moderately talented person from our 132nd sector is watching the battle today. I wonder what this genius's expression will be like when he sees brother Jia Yan. A venerable man motioned to the powerful men to take a look at the VIP room on the high platform, and then an expression of interest emerged. I've heard about it too. I think maybe the other party will come forward and fight Master Jia Yan. But we don't know the strength of Master Jia Yan yet. He just made an attack a few days ago. He was easily defeated by a strong person from the second level, and his strength has reached the peak of the Supreme Master. There must be some gap between Master Jia Yan and him. Another strong man said something that was not very optimistic about Jia Yan, and the surrounding sages seemed to agree with his statement. After all, Jia Yan's biggest disadvantage is that his brainwave power level is only between the early and middle stages of the venerable. Although the strength of a strong person is not only measured by brainwave power, but those with weak brainwave power must be weak. There are a lot of differences, especially among geniuses and strong men. There is a missing piece of strength. Maybe it is the gap between heaven and earth. Although Jia Yan may be a middle-level genius in their eyes, others are better than Jia Yan. If you have more energy, you should be stronger. While they were talking, Jia Yan on the stage had slowly reached the center of the ring. How dare you, young man, challenge me with your venerable body? Do you know what this means? The opponent was a white ape monster. When Jia Yan came on stage, his body, which was about 300 meters high, erupted with a sound of bones rattling, as if there was an explosive emotion growing. Haha, the white ape clan seems to have a talent for turning anger into strength. This time he was challenged by a venerable level monster, which obviously made him angry. It seems that this new challenger is in some danger. In the commentary room on the high platform, a powerful person from Sichuan explained the battle, and casually said something negative about Jia Yan. Of course, no one would be too optimistic about a respected person challenging a strong person in a second level. After all, the overall strength will be much weaker, especially for a talented person. A little less energy means that the strength is showing signs of decline. Weakness of geometric form. Jia Yan's strength is not at the peak of the Supreme Master, which shows that his strength is much weaker than that of the powerful Master this time. Although the monkey dance of the White Ape clan is the weakest among the so-called strong men in the second level, his strength is not really weak, he is just too excited and always kills his opponents. On all major planets, even with a low ranking in the district competition, this venerable level newcomer is in danger. There are two commentators for this Tornado Forces Star Sector battle. After seeing Jia Yan's situation, they are not optimistic about Jia Yan. Moreover, you and I are discussing the young newcomers now, and they seem to be too barbaric. To put it bluntly, it feels like Jia Yan will definitely lose. Hello, senior, although I may not win against you, I will not surrender. After Jia Yan heard what his opponent said, he didn't bother to say anything more. He is just a strong person who has passed the test. Jia Yan calls the other person senior, which is already giving him face. Hey, you didn't listen to my words, damn it. The white ape monster roared angrily, and then punched out. Jia Yan was a few kilometers away from him when he felt a wind coming from the fist and could hardly stand on his feet. The gap in brainwave power cannot be affected by strength. Although Jia Yan thinks that he is stronger than his opponent, in terms of brute force, he is destined to be much inferior. Humph, you want to kill me with one punch. When Jia Yan saw this white ape monster, he didn't hold back at all. If he was really an ordinary genius, he might be killed by the opponent in one blow. He snorted coldly and struck with his front legs. Stepping into the subspace. Hey, space talent. When the white ape monster saw Jia Yan entering the subspace, his demeanor changed slightly, and then his eyes turned around, as if he saw something strange in the space somewhere, and he punched out. Boom! The world shook. But in the direction where he hit, there was only a huge impact tunnel that was 2 or 3 kilometers long, but there was no sign of Jia Yan being knocked out of the subspace. Just behind the strong man, a front foot poked out faintly. Puff! The white ape monster spurted blood from its mouth. You! He looked at his chest, which had been pierced by the opponent in one blow, with a look of disbelief emerging. But Jia Yan behind him didn't give him too many chances. You want me to die? Die yourself. Following Jia Yan's faint voice, the power of his brainwaves passed directly through his front feet, emitting terrifying power directly into the opponent's internal organs. Puff puff. Blood splattered everywhere again, and the entire venue was an extremely bloody scene. The huge white ape monster could not be stopped and fell directly to the ground. It was a blow. On the ring, the lizard monster in the VIP room couldn't help but be a little stunned when seeing Jia Yan's method of killing the enemy. But he reacted quickly. Haha, Very good. This will make me want to point my fingers at him. Please arrange it for me. I will go on stage later. I will fight against a few strong men first, and arrange for us to meet again during the top 10 battles. Yes, I like Jia Yan very much, and I look forward to him being able to block more than 2 of my moves. Following the lizard monster's words, Jia Yan's battle schedule was decided. The strength shown by Jia Yan caused a small commotion in the entire second level of the strong players' seats. What is the origin of this venerable Jia Yan? He's so strong. I fought that white ape twice, and I won every time, but it was a miserable victory. And once, because he lost his mind, the referee ruled I won. A strong man from the second pass looked at Jia Yan's fate in shock, and asked his side with great solemnity. He is just about the same as the white ape monster. If he meets Jia Yan, he will probably be defeated in one blow. Defeat is still a trivial matter. Seeing Jia Yan dare to kill this white ape monster directly, he is afraid that the other party will kill him with one blow. Geniuses and strong men cherish their own lives more than the strong men in the outside world. After all, even if they are weak here, when they go out to the genius battlefield, everyone will be an incredible genius. Haha, he's just lucky. It's not like you don't know Yuan Wu's strength. He doesn't know much about a strong man with space talent. Maybe he just happens to be a master with this space talent. He's lucky. Did he sense a blind spot and launch an attack? That's right. This venerable boy, I see that the brainwave power fluctuations he emits are not even the peak of venerable masters. He is considered a powerful existence for us several times. There is no threat at all. Even though several powerful people from the second pass witnessed Jia Yan's strength with their own eyes, they still found countless excuses to prove that they were still stronger than Jia Yan. After all, this group of strong men are all arrogant. In addition, Jia Yan's previous blow was just enough to kill the white ape monster. He was not very fast and did not have any special attack methods. Naturally, they thought that Jia Yan was not too strong. Of course, they were still interested in this venerable being who could kill a sub-level being. Master Jia Yan, you are too strong. When Jia Yan came off the battlefield, several familiar venerables on the venerable table gathered around him. When they saw Jia Yan, they were all shocked. It seemed that Jia Yan had done something big that they could not imagine. Generally, the leopard monster's attitude towards Jia Yan became more respectful. Sir, the white ape monster you just killed is Sarawu of the white ape clan. He has a high status in the white ape clan. As you know, killing opponents rarely happens in Star Wars. In order not to be retaliated by the other party's forces, although in theory the other party cannot retaliate, in fact there are still countless things to do. You have to be careful. The white ape clan has players in the sub-level and semi-star levels. Even if I can't run into you in this star battle, but if you go out to the tornado forces, you might be intercepted and killed by them. Oh? Intercept and kill? Haha, thank you for the reminder. Jia Yan was stunned for a moment, then nodded lightly with an expression that made it impossible for others to know his true expression. All the monsters around him didn't know if Jia Yan was afraid. Thanks to the book Friends Tips from Pirated Readers for the tip, you are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito author, Bulletin U. Chapter 869. Phone reading. The battle on the stage is still going on. First time, dear. After the white ape monster was killed by Jia Yan, the Star District competition this time had a touch of blood, which also cheered up the somewhat careless second-level experts. That's interesting. Jia Yan looked at the battle on the field. Compared with the battle at the venerable level, the strong men in the secondary level could bring him more experience. However, there were not many battles between the strong men of Sig 1. After all, the number could not be compared with that of the Venerable. Not long after, the round was over and Jia Yan was about to take the stage again. Zhou Wu vs Jia Yan. Zhou Wu vs Jia Yan? Now it's interesting. Zhou Wu is the strongest among the strong men in Sichuan, at least one of the top 20. Jia Yan is obviously going to lose when he goes up against him. Haha, let's see how this arrogant venerable genius lost. I don't know which genius he was trained by, but he is probably the pinnacle of junior geniuses. But when we encounter it is impossible for a strong person among the weakest people to win. The audience on the sidelines looked at Jia Yan on stage as if they were having a good show, and then pointed, as if they were not optimistic about Jia Yan's prospects. Of course, it is impossible to be optimistic. Not many people in the 132-star area know Jia Yan's image. In addition, he has killed a strong person in the second level before. This kind of performance is a bit unsatisfactory for the geniuses in the 132-star area. I meant to be offended, after all, even if outside geniuses come to their place to gain experience, they rarely kill people. Jia Yan, that's it for you. In our 132-star district, even the top junior geniuses cannot have much limelight. Zhou Wu is a big sponge-like monster. With a wave of his big tentacles, 1,000 or 2,000 tentacles hit Jia Yan's direction fiercely. Oh! The peak beings among junior geniuses cannot steal the limelight, so if they are middle-level geniuses, can they shine? Or can high-level geniuses shine? Jia Yan jumped lightly and avoided the opponent's attack. You are still a mid-level genius? A high-level genius? I think you are just a junior genius. How can a mid-level genius be so easy to find, let alone a high-level genius? We have never seen a high-level genius in the 132-star area. How dare you be a high-level genius, ridiculous. When the sponge monster heard Jia Yan talk about high-level geniuses, he almost laughed out loud. High-level geniuses are also legendary in this 132-star area. For this sponge monster at this moment, Jia Yan said the words of high-level geniuses. It just made him feel even worse about Jia Yan. Who keeps talking about rumors when everything is fine? Jia Yan once again dodged the opponent's tentacle attack. For Jia Yan, this kind of attack was more familiar. Still hiding, let's see where you hide. The sponge monster looked a little confused. It aimed at Jia Yan's back and attacked with 100 tentacles in a roundabout way. When Jia Yan saw this scene, he stepped on his 6 legs and his body directly entered the subspace. Using subspace power with me is useless. The sponge monster seemed to have expected that Jia Yan would use this move, and then rolled up its thousands of arms faster and waved directly towards a certain point in the space. Bang bang bang. There were sounds like whips lashing out from the originally empty space. Then I saw a vague figure almost appearing in the air. It turns out that this sponge monster actually has an attack method that can break through space, making it impossible for Jia Yan to hide his figure in subspace. But just when the sponge monster was getting excited and thought it could defeat the venerable Jia Yan, who had originally shown a trace of his figure, disappeared into the space again. Impossible. The sponge monster was startled, and then he kept waving his thousands of arms, hitting outside the space, but it had no effect anymore. It seems that you can't crack my spatial ability. Just when the monster was getting a little anxious, Jia Yan's voice sounded from behind him, and then Jia Yan's front foot was about to thrust out. Within an instant, the sponge monster's countless arms returned to defense. Jia Yan only stabbed a few of his arms and broke several of them, but was unable to harm the opponent's real body. Jia Yan, you are really strong, come on, keep fighting. Seeing how terrifying Jia Yan was, the sponge monster finally no longer regarded him as an ordinary venerable, but as a formidable enemy. Continue to fight? No need, just let me defeat you. Jia Yan has seen the opponent's fighting skills and now has no intention of delaying. Puff. Only a soft scream was heard in the air, and then when the sponge monster was about to block it, he felt his tentacles being cut off one by one. Then a front foot emitting a faint blue light stabbed in front of him. What kind of light is this? The sponge monster stared at the blue light in front of him and asked in a daze. I won't tell you, do you want to admit defeat? Jia Yan's voice sounded behind the light. I surrender, sponge monster said bitterly. This time, it was our super genius Venerable Jia Yan who won again. It was amazing. The sharpness and power of his attack couldn't possibly be the strength of an ordinary Venerable. Ji on the high platform almost went crazy. Jia Yan's appearance caught them completely off guard. Originally, even if a genius from a medium power came, they would have heard some news beforehand, but this Jia Yan seemed to appear out of nowhere. They have never heard of the genius. Jia Yan slowly walked down the battle ring. This time, the look he received was a little different. Lord Jia Yan, you are a strong person among middle-level geniuses, right? As soon as they got down, the 6 familiar sages came to them, especially the leopard monster who asked directly out of curiosity. That's what you think? Jia Yan smiled, then walked to his player seat and glanced slightly towards the viewing room on the high platform. Interesting, this Jia Yan is declaring war on me. The strong lizard man on the high platform finally let go of the female lizard monster. No matter how much she teased her, there was no response. Haha, it seems that he doesn't know your strength. Just let him wait. It would be a good thing to wait until the next level of the top 10 battle to meet you again. That's right, none of the players assigned to him next will have the strength of this Xiuao. I'm afraid he won't be able to endure it until then. The lizard monster calmly lay back on the ground. This flying monster may be a mid-level genius. In that case, as a senior, I have to let him take a good look at the strength of my mid-level genius senior. Okay, although you are also a venerable, your brainwave power is much stronger than him. Even if you are a powerful genius in the second level, you can definitely get the top 3. This is the second time invited by our tornado forces. You are among the top 3 among the powerful warriors. For a venerable like you to reach this level, it is definitely an extremely terrifying record. On one side, the strong man from the second level was fawning over the lizard monster. Of course, as a genius, the lizard monster still had some self-adjustment ability. I really don't necessarily have to be in the top 3 in your genius battle of Guanjian. After all, I am still a venerable. Wait until a few years later, after I am promoted to the next Guanqiang. Let's do it again. This first place, the name is definitely in my bag. Yes, let alone our tornado forces first place in the Star District Genius competition, even if it is the entire 132 Star District Genius competition, by the time you become a strong player in the second level, you may be able to win the first place. Hearing the strong man next to him flattering him so much, the lizard monster rarely hesitated. As for my strength, if I am promoted to a sub-level expert, I have a chance to compete for the top 15 in the entire star region. But if I am above 10, I am still close. I need at least a few more years of practice. He was a little embarrassed. Words. Perhaps due to the results of the conversation in the room on the high platform, Jia Yan never encountered anything more powerful than the tentacle monster in the next battle. And it would be easier for Jia Yan to win such a battle. After each battle, the entire viewing platform, the famous audience, gradually felt incredible towards Jia Yan. For a venerable person to be able to win one battle with strong men in the second level, it may be due to luck. To win 2 games, it may be the luck of luck. But to win 3 or 4 games, it cannot be solved by luck. But the real strength. It's been 5 consecutive wins. Player Jia Yan has won consecutive games. Next is the battle for the top 20. Can player Jia Yan continue on his path? The commentator worked hard to solve Jia Yan's battle. What I'm more worried about is player Jia Yan's endurance. As a venerable level genius, his strength is definitely next to the next level strongman. But he is just a venerable after all. He has fought 5 times in a row now. I suspect that player Jia Yan's endurance is no longer enough. After all, he is still a sage, and his physical fitness is not the same as that of a strong person from the next level. Yes, that's what I'm worried about. I wonder if player Jia Yan will stop in the top 20. The two commentators continued to talk about Jia Yan. Although their opinions were not too strongly refuting, no matter how they sounded, they seemed to be discrediting Jia Yan. Lord Jia Yan, you are so powerful that you have even entered the top 20 strong men in the second level. This way, your average genius strength will be known to other creatures, and you will become famous in our 132-star district. In the contestants table among the venerable level talented players, the leopard monster's admiration for Jia Yan almost reached its peak. You must know that Jia Yan directly defeated several strong men from the second level who he had bowed respectfully from a distance. How could he not admire Jia Yan? Are you 20 strong? It seems that in this genius battle of the tornado forces, not many strong people have appeared. It's a pity. Jia Yan then realized that he had entered the top 20, and just shook his head. L3 L4, Sikusu. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 870. Jia Yan's original intention of coming to the Star Zone's genius battle was to meet the strong. But now it seems that in this private genius battle of the tornado forces, there are indeed not many truly strong people. Not to mention that there are no semi-star level battles. Even in this Guan strong level, there are not many strong ones. But the battle among the top 10 is a bit interesting. It is a good way for me to get familiar with the 132-star area. After Jia Yan felt a few battles on the stage, he waited for the battle of the top 20 to begin. Of course, he didn't meet too many powerful people before he met the venerable person in the VIP room. There was a lot of discussion in the entire auditorium. Some viewers even thought of the two words shady. Word. There is certainly a shady story, but it has nothing to do with Jia Yan himself. After another battle, Jia Yan came to the battle of the top 10. Haha, this year's Tornado Force Genius battle has finally come to this time again. Let's take a look. This is the name of the strongest sub-level expert in this sector. Of course, what may surprise everyone is, there are actually two powerful men at the venerable level here. Yes, viewers, don't underestimate these two great sages. One of them is the venerable one you just saw with your own eyes, Jia Yan. Everyone has seen his strength. And the other sage is a genius. He is a well-known middle-level genius in our 132-star district, and he is destined to be the pillar of our 132-star district in the future, Your Excellency Shang Ren. It's actually Shang Ren. I see. I told you which genius has directly entered the top 10 of the next level. Master Shang Ren said there are not many surprises. The organizer is not wrong either. Sir Shang Ren is also one of the top 10 among the venerable level geniuses in our star region. He is still a middle level genius. As long as he is promoted to the next level of powerhouse, he may be among the top 20 in strength right after his promotion. It may even be possible to reach the top 5 in the future. If such a genius comes to the Star Zone Genius competition of the Tornado Force, he will definitely be given special treatment. Yes, in comparison, Jia Yan must be much inferior to him. Not to mention that he is only a mid-level genius around the middle stage of the Venerable. Even if he reaches the peak of the Venerable, he will definitely not be our Lord Shang Ren. After all, there is a difference between genius and genius. Listening to the comments of each audience, the lizard monster on the high platform looked at Jia Yan below with some pride. For him, although there were some powerful people around him that he could not defeat, he did not regard them as such. He takes it seriously, because he knows that as long as he reaches the second level of the strong, none of the second level strong here can be his opponent. He just looked at Jia Yan, because Jia Yan was also a powerful genius. Huh? You don't even look at me, but when he saw Jia Yan's player seat, he suddenly became a little cold. It turned out that Jia Yan didn't even look at him. He didn't know what Jia Yan was thinking now, otherwise he would be furious. It turns out that the one above is a venerable. Alas, I was really looking forward to being a powerful second-level expert, but it turned out to be just a venerable. Even if he is a mid-level genius, will he be a threat to me? Haha. Jia Yan smiled helplessly and shook his head. Alright, the top 10 battles for the next level will begin now. I hope Your Excellency Shangren in the VIP room will also come down. The two commentators at the commentary table invited Shangren from the high platform. When the huge cyan lizard appeared outside the auditorium, every audience member seemed to have seen some celebrity. Although there were even half-star level experts who were more powerful than Shangren in the audience, they are all more respectful to Shangren. After all, a mid-level genius cannot escape from becoming a powerful semi-star in the future. There is even a slight possibility that he can hit the huge threshold that is placed in front of all geniuses at the star level. The top 10 powerful men should all come on stage. The honor of the conference requires everyone to meet. Jia Yan came on the stage, and the other 8 powerful people also came on the stage. It's obviously a battle at the level of a sub-level expert, but there are 2 great sages mixed in. This scene is strange. In particular, the general strong men in the second level are huge. The existence of Jia Yan, who is more than 100 meters tall, is mixed with the strong lizard man who is more than 100 meters tall. Even his style of painting has changed. This year has seen a rare situation. 2 venerables have actually reached the top 10 of the next level. It can be said to be a rare event for our tornado force. Let's all take a group photo. A staff member came forward and took photos of the top 10 strong men. Apparently they wanted to use the powerful man's photo for future commercial purposes. Jia Yan, you don't know if you can win another round? If you can, I will let you live one more round and fight you again when we reach the top 5. The green lizard monster was not happy that others mentioned him and Jia Yan together. After taking the photo, he sent a private message to Jia Yan. Shangren, right? If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. Jia Yan looked at the other party, then nodded. Look, everyone, the 2 great sages on the stage are communicating. They are both middle-level geniuses. It seems that they are sympathetic to each other. The narrator talks nonsense from the dais. After the top 10 strong players left the stage again, the battle of the top 10 began. The first opponent Jia Yan faced was an earthworm-like monster who could spray liquid. This was a kind of venom. Although Jia Yan felt that he had committed a foul, he had no intention of complaining. After a sudden change in space, he directly stabbed the opponent's head with his blue forefoot. This earthworm monster actually died. Jia Yan didn't expect that the earthworm monster that broke into the top 10 would be so unbearable. What he didn't understand was that the opponent's poison was too powerful. Most strong people didn't want to fight him, so they chose to avoid it. The earthworm monster's vitality is not like the earthworms on the earth. On the contrary, it is extremely fragile. So he died in one blow from Jia Yan. Boy! If you dare to kill my powerful genius, you are dead. Just after Jia Yan killed the earthworm monster, a half-star powerhouse in the audience burst out with extremely terrifying pressure. But within this tornado force, the pressure of semi-star level powerhouses was also released, making him dare not move. Hey, a half-star that is more powerful than Bibi Huangfu. Contrary to what the surrounding audience thought, when this semi-star powerhouse appeared, the person involved, Jia Yan, instead of being frightened, was extremely surprised. After he defeated Bai Wangfu, he came to the star area in order to fight a half-star strong man. But now he saw a half-star who happened to be stronger than Bai Wangfu and had murderous intentions for him. Jia, of course, Yan was not surprised, but happy. It's just right for me to be able to escape from such a strong person even though I can't defeat him. The fighting spirit in Jia Yan's heart was also awakened. After returning to the player's stand, he continued to release the power of his brainwaves, quietly blasting towards the semi-star powerhouse in the audience. The power of this brainwave is not strong. Even if the strong people around him feel it, they just look weird and don't think Jia Yan is attacking. But the half-star powerhouse became extremely angry. This kid looks like there is no strong person following him. I want to kill him. Even if there is some powerful force behind him, I will kill him. At worst, I will just kill him and run away. I will not kill him after being humiliated by such a respected person. If he says it, wouldn't it be that I have cultivated to a semi-star level in vain? This semi-star level powerhouse continued to angrily counteract the brainwave power that Jia Yan quietly bombarded, and the murderous intention in his heart became more obvious. Not all so-called strong men are extremely calm. Without a little drive, it is impossible to become a strong man. And now this strong man is really angered by Jia Yan. Not only did he kill the genius of the second-level powerhouse brought by him, but he also kept teasing him with the power of brain waves. The half-star powerhouses around him who understood it were all laughing secretly. This made this sub-level expert, who also had some reputation in the 132-star district, feel that his face was not bright. He was angry, but Jia Yan felt funny in the contestants' box. This time Guangqiang is angry, haha. He doesn't dare to use his brainwave power to counterattack me, because I am a player. If he attacks the players of the Star Zone talent competition, doesn't he not give face to the organizers' tornado force? So you are bullying him unilaterally, and he is almost going crazy. Jia Yan felt so bad. Boy, you're dead, I swear, you're dead. After watching another battle, the half-star powerhouse came to Shiyu and finally couldn't help it anymore, because Jia Yan bullied him so badly. After he stood up and left the viewing platform, he flew away from the tornado force star. As for whether he was waiting outside the force, it was not something that others could know. Jia Yan didn't have much to worry about. This Jia Yan is so bad. I don't think he is protected by a strong person. What makes him so confident? Could it be that he is protected by a powerful half-star that we cannot detect? And this scene was seen by 1.5-star powerhouses among the tornado forces, and they were all a little surprised. This kind of genius is very important in any medium force. It is normal for a strong man to come out to protect Jia Yan. But they didn't see it. It must be a very powerful semi-star. It seems that the other party's origin is more terrifying than we imagined. We should avoid provoking this Jia Yan less. By mistake, Jia Yan's wanton behavior towards the half-star strong man was misunderstood by the strong men from the tornado forces. He was protected by a strong man, and they could not find him. Either he was far away in the starry sky. There is a place to wait, or this strong man is so powerful that they, a group of strong men from the tornado force, cannot detect it. The tornado forces are worried about the latter. You must know that half-star powerhouses also have strengths and weaknesses. If placed in the entire genius battlefield, half-star powerhouses of their strength can only be regarded as the lowest level. Forget it, let's just take a look at the situation and leave Jia Yan alone for the time being. The semi-star powerhouses from several major tornado forces all reached a unanimous decision. Please subscribe, everyone is busy celebrating the new year, so I dropped a lot of subscriptions. The new year celebration makes Baiyu feel unhappy, 55,555, please subscribe, give Baiyu a good sign for the new year, thank you. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 871. Jia Yan didn't know that his performance was regarded as a playboy by the tornado forces. He was just waiting to face the next test. Master Jia Yan, you are so amazing, you are even in the top 5. The venerables who were friends with Jia Yan all showed a look of shock when they greeted Jia Yan as he left the stage. You must know that these top 5 are not the ordinary top 5, but the top 5 who are one level above Jia Yan. For those with this kind of strength, they are all seniors and masters. But in Jia Yan's eyes, the geniuses of Sigwan strong men seemed to be no different from ordinary strong men. Even now, they could analyze that Jia Yan still seemed to have some tricks up his sleeve. This is not something ordinary geniuses can do. Sir, your talent must be a high-level existence among middle-level geniuses, right? Otherwise, how could you kill the top 10 genius-level masters before reaching the peak of the sage? The leopard monster said to Jia Yan's talent, most curious. Jia Yan just smiled and did not answer. The two sides met by chance, so he didn't need to explain clearly, and the leopard monster just asked. Sure enough, the leopard monster stopped asking after seeing Jia Yan. This Jia Yan can actually kill even the sub-level beings of the top 10 strong men? Haha, it seems that I underestimated him. On the other side of the player's seat, the green lizard monster glanced at Jia Yan, and then let out an unhappy snort. Among the existences of this tornado power venerable level, he originally considered himself to be the most glorious. But now Jia Yan appeared and took away his glory, which made him feel uncomfortable. He is a mid-level genius, and he is almost a sage who has almost reached the second level. Although Jia Yan looks like a mid-level genius, he thinks that Jia Yan will still not be his opponent. Come here and make arrangements for me to fight him in the top 5 battle. The lizard monster called out to the sub-level monster of the tornado force and asked him to make arrangements. Okay, the lion monster nodded. Jia Yan, let you be proud. The battle between us will begin soon. I hope you can block 10 of my moves. The lizard monster looked in the direction of Jia Yan calmly, and then smiled. The lizard monster took back his statement that Jia Yan couldn't block 2 of his moves, but still didn't think that Jia Yan could block 10 of his moves. The battle continues. Soon the top 5 battle came out. The most shocking thing is that in the history of the genius war between the tornado forces, a scene that has never appeared before appeared. That was a second-level genius battle. 2 great sages actually appeared, and these 2 great sages were promoted to one of the top 5. This can be said to be a record in the entire history of the tornado force. A battle of history. Dear viewers, this is the battle of geniuses of the tornado forces. In this battle of geniuses of the tornado forces, there was an unusual situation. That is, in this session of the tornado forces second-level battle in the middle, the figures of 2 great sages actually appeared. Everyone, please subscribe to me. I am the beautiful lady of the Spider Clan. Today is the day when I will broadcast the tornado forces genius battle. Look, in this genius battle, there are 2 great sages, and this beauty the same venerable one, so awesome, isn't he? Among these 2 great masters, one is a well-known mid-range genius in our 132-star district, and is also the familiar master Shang Ren. The other master looks a little strange, and I believe he is another genius from afar. But this genius was unlucky and met our Lord Shang Ren. One by one, the hosts and live broadcast platform commentators began to explain the battle between the top 5 tornado forces. The genius battle of the tornado forces, which was originally not expected by others, suddenly became more and more platforms that applied for live broadcast. This is what the tornado forces are happy to see. They hold genius wars for reputation and profit. For a force, holding an influential genius war is to enhance its reputation. Master Jia Yan, we have prepared a lounge for you. Under the respectful guidance of a tornado force venerable, Jia Yan was taken to a player lounge. Naturally, he was not tired, but in order to make people feel their status as the top 5, the opponent still invited every player into the lounge, and Jia Yan couldn't refuse. Not long after, Jia Yan saw a battle on the field. It turns out that the top 5 battles are fought in turns. He has to fight 4 times, which means he has to fight once with each opponent. To put it bluntly, it is similar to the previous top 10 battles of Urshan forces. It's just that this Tornado Forces Genius battle cannot be held on such a grand scale, so the top 5 are the will battle. It's quite powerful. Jia Yan saw that the 2 opponents fighting on the field were both strong men in the second level, and their strength was extraordinary. They were stronger than the strongest in the second level of Urshan's power. A bit like that. However, there are still strong and weak players in the 2 major levels, and the winner is quickly determined. Next game, Jia Yan fights Shang Ren. As the commentator passionately shouted out these 2 names, the entire auditorium was silent at first, and then the entire auditorium erupted into terrifying cheers. It turned out to be a battle between 2 great geniuses. It seems we are lucky. Lord Shangren is a middle-level genius. Although Jia Yan doesn't know his origin, he must be a middle-level genius. We actually have Xi and C2. A battle between big and medium talents is simply a matter of great luck. How long has it been since there was a battle between middle-level geniuses in our Tornado Force Genius battle? A grand event, an absolute grand event. For this reason alone, today's ticket price is worth it. Every audience member was extremely excited. In their opinion, the battle between 2 mid-level geniuses is something not to be missed. Anyone who didn't come to the scene would probably regret it to death. Jia Yan, on the other hand, ignored the excitement of the audience, smiled lightly, and walked out of the lounge. Another lounge not far from his lounge also opened, and Shang Ren's lizard body slowly walked out of the door. When he saw Jia Yan, his eyes first flashed, and then a secret brainwave power came over provocatively. But Jia Yan didn't respond. The brainwave power he shot seemed to disappear after contacting Jia Yan's body, without any effect at all. Interesting. The green lizard sneered, and then walked from the entrance to the battle circle. The 2 received numerous cheers along the way. Tell me, who will win in this battle between Lord Shangren and Jia Yan? Do you still need to ask? Master Shangren's strength is at the peak of the Supreme Master, and he is also a middle-level genius. Jia Yan will definitely lose. He is only what the Supreme Master may not be in the middle stage. The difference is too big. I don't think so. Jia Yan still feels very mysterious to me. I think he can block at least 20 moves. What are 20 moves? Let me see. Master Shangren can kill him without even 10 moves. The entire viewing platform was filled with different voices due to the strength of Jia Yan and Shang Ren. But no matter how big the differences are, no one thinks that Jia Yan can win. Because his brainwave power is only around the middle stage of the Venerable. The following discussion cannot affect the 2 geniuses who are preparing for the battle. Arriving at the battle circle, Jia Yan looked at the big lizard. Jia Yan, it's not easy to meet a middle-level genius with similar strength. I hope you don't surrender and fight with you. Maybe you and I will gain something. Shang Ren said softly to Jia Yan. Although he said this, the meaning behind his words was completely condescending. I won't surrender, I'm afraid you'll surrender later. Jia Yan glanced at him and said. I surrender? Haha, it seems that even though your background is good, you are destined to not be able to go very far in the future. You can't even tell the difference between strong and weak. I feel really sad for you. The lizard monster shook his head in a pretentious manner. Feel pathetic for me? Haha. Jia Yan was stunned for a moment, then shook his head helplessly. He didn't know where this lizard monster got its confidence, and he didn't know where all the creatures present had the information to think that he was a moderate genius. Is Jia Yan just a middling genius? Let's discuss it with a middle-level genius. What's embarrassing is whether Jia Yan is good or not. Okay, are you both ready? If so, let's start fighting. A half-star monster who was in charge of the next round of genius referee on the sidelines questioned the two of them. Okay, let's fight. Let your strength speak for itself. Jia Yan didn't want to talk anymore with this lizard monster. But he was not prepared to use all his strength. After all, it was not necessary for a venerable person. Even if this venerable person was a so-called medium genius, in front of Jia Yan, he was no different from a more powerful baby. There was no difference at all. There is no comparison. Let's fight. I'll let you attack first. Come on. The lizard monster seemed to look down on Jia Yan, and then put on a defensive posture, letting Jia Yan attack first. Hurry up and attack, otherwise if I take action, you won't even have a chance to take action, the green lizard said to Jia Yan mockingly. Jia Yan shook his head. Okay, then I'll take action. Jia Yan stepped lightly with his front foot. His movement was extremely slow, but when his front foot touched the ground, his body suddenly turned into an extremely fast light. Haha, that's right. Use all your strength and let me see if you are qualified enough for me to take action. Shang Ren looked at the charging Jia Yan as if he was giving instructions to a junior, and uttered mocking words in his mouth. Jia Yan's big mosquito figure came to him. Although he was fast, Shang Ren didn't show the slightest panic. At the moment when the two sides were about to get close, Shang Ren moved his body disdainfully, trying to avoid Jia Yan's blow. But at this moment, Jia Yan's body disappeared into the air. Phew! With a soft sound, Jia Yan appeared on the side of Shang Ren's body. At the same time, he stretched out his forefoot, still stabbing Shang Ren's body with forward momentum. Huh! You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 872. Seeing Jia Yan's space-traveling attack, the cyan lizard was a little surprised and quickly twisted its body to avoid the sudden attack. /U003E novel. But at this moment, a faint flash of light flashed in Jia Yan's eyes. Then his body also twisted suddenly. The opponent's twisting direction was actually exactly the same as Jia Yan's twisting direction. Under this move, the difference between experience and combat ability was fully revealed. Jia Yan relied on his experience to understand the direction of the opponent's avoidance, and still stabbed the opponent's body with his front foot. Puff! In the disbelief of the spectators, a cloud of blood burst into the air. The green lizard seemed to have suffered some serious trauma. After tumbling violently from the air, it hit the ground. Shang Ren, the big lizard, had a long scar, and the scar was located at the heart. If he hadn't suddenly slapped Jia Yan's front feet away with his front paws at the moment of death, this would have happened. A single blow could kill him. Shang Ren, who had just experienced the shock of death, wanted to get up, but his body was shaking a little, and he seemed to be frightened. As a mid-level genius, in his previous battles, he either bullied the weak and killed others directly, or the masters gave way to him. It was the same in this genius battlefield. This was the first time that he was so close to death. Lord Shangren, it seems that your strength is no more than this. Didn't you ask me not to surrender? Why, do you want to surrender now? Jia Yan landed on the ground and said mockingly. In fact, he was able to kill the opponent with just one blow, but Jia Yan knew very well that behind such a genius, there was destined to be a huge force, and there might be a half-star powerhouse far beyond King Urshan. So he kept his hand. Will I surrender? Come on, let's fight again. It was just me who was careless. How can you, a small midterm venerable, compare to me? After hearing Jia Yan's words, Shang Ren felt a burst of anger in his expression. Emerged, and then got up. He was only slightly injured and did not damage his internal organs. This kind of injury was not too serious for a venerable person. Go to hell. The cyan lizard rushed out. As he was flying, the cyan color on his body suddenly turned fiery red. Here you go, Master Shangaran's racial talent is also his most powerful weapon. It can increase his strength by 20% and increase his power burning ability. Just now, he was hit by Jia Yan. It seems that Master Shangaran is angry. This is a good show. I don't know what method Jia Yan used. I saw that his previous blow was not too powerful, but it actually hurt Master Shangaran. It seems that he will suffer the consequences now. Master Shangaran, if we take it seriously, Jia Yan will definitely be seriously injured or even die. If he dies, he will be the first middle-level genius to die in the genius battle of our tornado force. Being able to become the last place of death for a middle-level genius will be a blessing to our tornado force, haha. The commentator on the sidelines actually spoke at an extremely fast speed. When Shangren's body turned fiery red, Jia Yan also felt the change in power of the other party's body. What a strange racial talent. Although it cannot enhance the power of brain waves, it also makes his body suddenly strengthened by 20%. This ability is simply a plug-in. No wonder this Shangren has a great reputation. Jia Yan sighed at the opponent's ability, and then his expression became slightly more solemn. Although the strength of the cyan lizard is still unable to cause any harm to Jia Yan, after increasing his strength by 20%, it will be difficult for Jia Yan to defeat him. If he accidentally kills the opponent, he might really provoke him. There may be some powerful force. As his mind turned, Shangren attacked Jia Yan. Boom! His claws hit Jia Yan's claws with one blow. It's really strong. Jia Yan blocked the opponent's blow in person. With real strength, Jia Yan believed that he was no match for the opponent. He was actually hit hard and flew out. Haha, Shangren's attack was successful. It seems that after he liberated his power, Jia Yan can't pose much threat to him. It seems that our agenda does not need to change. We still want to see if Jia Yan can stop Lord Shangren. The 10 tricks are ready. No, I think this Jia Yan still has some strength, so I judge that he can block Master Shangaran's 20 moves. In short, he will definitely lose. It just depends on whether the loss is good or not. The two commentators on the high platform were still looking at Jia Yan. Jia Yan was not affected by the words of these two commentators. In fact, he wanted to defeat Shangren in many ways. But now he didn't do that, but with some magical light in his eyes, he withstood the opponent's attacks again and again. When he attacks with his claws, there is a strange light. This light can make him a little stronger. No wonder, this is the secret of his talent. Jia Yan kept analyzing the lizard monster's talent, and slowly finally understood it. Jia Yan, aren't you very powerful? Why can't you fight back? This is the lesson a mid-level genius senior taught you. Just watch, you will be defeated within 10 moves, ha ha ha, Shangren laughed while attacking. He felt that Jia Yan's resistance seemed to be very difficult, and his confidence suddenly increased. He seemed to have forgotten the blow Jia Yan had given him before, and he felt that he was bound to win. You are said to be fat and you still have asthma. It happened that Jia Yan finally understood the other party's talent. Now after hearing these words, his face became unhappy for a while. Anyway, this so-called mid-level genius has seen enough of the opponent's strength, and this is the end of his hiding. Choke. Jia Yan's front foot was exposed for the first time before the opponent's attack. Want to counter-attack my attacks? It's not that simple. Watch me smash your front legs in pieces. The opponent relied on his own strength and stretched out his claws fiercely, as if he wanted to break Jia Yan's front feet. But it's not that easy to break Jia Yan's front legs, which can withstand extremely terrifying force. Puff. The two sides were in contact. But under Shang Ren's confident gaze, Jia Yan's front foot was like a sharp knife, cutting hard into his claws, and then directly cut off a section of his front foot without any hindrance. Cut. The front legs of the big mosquito that appeared in azure defense were not that simple at all. As soon as they reached out to make contact, they immediately cut off the opponent's proud powerful claws, along with a small section of the foot. Ah, how is that possible? Shang Ren, who endured the pain, exclaimed, and then retreated with a gleam of extreme fear in his eyes. He finally saw clearly that his opponent, Jia Yan, seemed to have this indifferent look in his eyes from the beginning, as if he understood early on that he would not be his opponent's opponent at all. And there is only one possible explanation for this situation. You. It's impossible to be an ordinary middle-level genius. Are you a high-level or even top-level middle-level genius? While retreating, Shang Ren let out a horrified shout. You guess. Jia Yan did not explain, but moved his body and entered the subspace. Shang Ren's demeanor suddenly changed. If he used to think that Jia Yan was just a little insect struggling in front of him, but now he understood that this was not a little insect, but an insect that could attack him. The big devil who poses a threat to life. You can't hide. Just as the opponent's body retreated, Jia Yan's indifferent voice appeared beside the opponent. Then a front foot shot out from nowhere, gently cutting off part of Shang Ren's body. The other party verbally insulted Jia Yan several times, so naturally he would not let him go easily. Even if he could not be killed, Jia Yan could still severely injure him. I admit it. Shang Ren was about to say the words to admit defeat, but the next moment, he felt his head buzzing. It turned out that Jia Yan used the power of brain waves to directly shock his brain waves, causing him to instantly lose the ability to speak. Although Jia Yan's total brainwave power is weaker than that of the cyan lizard, his brainwave attack ability is inherited from that great senior. Now that he is using it, how can Shang Ren, who is already in shock, stop him? Come on? Poof. After Jia Yan's attack, Shang Ren, who had no fighting spirit, was violently swept away by him. The huge lizard body suddenly flew out of the field, and then fell there, motionless. If it weren't for the weak energy fluctuations, others would have thought he was dead. Lord Shang Ren actually lost. The commentator's originally eloquent words were now paused. Both commentators stared at Jia Yan standing proudly on the field, unable to say a word. Not only them, but also several half-star powerhouses in the audience and VIP seats, and even the half-star powerhouses in the entire tornado force who were watching this battle, were also shocked in an instant. A loud buzzing sound. Player Jia Yan is not even in the middle stage of the venerable stage, but he can actually defeat Lord Shang Ren, who is a mid-level genius. And I found that during the battle, he seemed to be playing with a child. This. At least a high-level genius. No. It may even be a peak middle-level genius. No wonder Lord Jia Yan dares to treat Master Shang Ren like that. You must know that Lord Shang Ren is just a low-level middle-level genius. There is no comparison between Master Jia Yan. Yes. There is a person who may be a top-level genius. It is simply too scary. We probably don't even have one in the 132-star district. What a monster this is. The referee on the sidelines seemed to be stunned by Jia Yan's power. You must know that Shang Ren, the Tornado Force, had spent a lot of effort to invite them to build a reputation for the Tornado Force's genius battle, and now he was actually defeated by a brainwave force. How could he not be shocked by being defeated by a weaker being? But when the comments in the audience reached his ears, the referee monster suddenly came to his senses and shouted loudly. This time, Jia Yan wins. Thanks to the book friend A Clear Flood for the 500 reward, and also to the book friends Kana Soul and No Money in My Pocket for their tips. Happy 29th of the 12th lunar month. By the way, Yesterday the book officially exceeded 3 million words, and it happened to be the Chinese New Year, which was quite festive. $3 million. This is the first time I have written such a long book. I would like to thank all the book friends who have accompanied me to this point. Thank you. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 873. The tornado forces did not have too many overreactions to Jia Yan's victory, or it should be said that Jia Yan's appearance would be more beneficial to them. A small tornado forces genius battle was able to bring in two great geniuses in one fell swoop. This was extremely beneficial to their force's reputation. If it weren't for Shang Ren's face, they might all come to congratulate Jia Yan and establish relations. Awesome. So awesome. This Jia Yan can actually beat that Shang Ren. It seems that he may enter the top 3 of this year's second pass. You must know that Shang Ren can only enter the top 5. The remaining second pass strong, he probably won't be able to defeat it. I don't think I can say for sure. The top 5 sub-level experts are all extremely powerful. Even if they don't have average genius strength, they are not much different. 2 of them are 132 stars invited by the tornado forces to make a name for themselves. The district is well known for being strong in secondary levels, and it shouldn't be easy for Jia Yan to defeat them. After seeing Jia Yan's strength, the surrounding strong men had a great understanding of Jia Yan's terror, but still no one thought that Jia Yan could win a good ranking in this genius battle among strong men. In other words, after he defeated Shang Ren, he was ranked 4th. The ensuing battle really verified others' guesses. Shang Ren was seriously injured and went on stage again. He fought with a second-level genius in less than 2 moves and immediately announced defeat. Jia Yan also came on stage next. He was facing a strong second-level player who was tentatively ranked 3rd. Jia Yan, I know that your strength is very powerful, and I think that your talent far exceeds mine, but you are just a venerable now. I hope you can take the initiative to admit defeat, otherwise if I take action, I will always hurt your harmony. The 3rd strong man is a 5-headed monster who looks very imposing. His strength is the most advanced among the strong men in the 2nd level. I'm sorry, I won't admit defeat. Jia Yan simply rejected the other party's kindness. It's true that geniuses are all arrogant, so I'll let you see what the meaning of Tianlaoshan means. The tentatively ranked 3 strong men in the secondary level felt that Jia Yan was a little too arrogant. After his expression changed slightly, he directly used his own power and sprinted towards Jia Yan. His ability is also the power of space, so he looks down on Jia Yan's space travel. And Jia Yan felt that the space around him suddenly tightened, and then it seemed that he could not travel through the space at all. Defeat me. The 3rd strong man came to attack, but at this moment, he suddenly saw Jia Yan in front of him turned into a misty after-image in a trance. Huh? How can he still use space power? This time, Guanqiang understood that this was the activation of Jia Yan's space power, and in a hurry, he evacuated to one side, thinking this in his mind. But no matter how he thought about it, he couldn't think of what kind of power Jia Yan used. What he didn't know was that Jia Yan's space power was not that simple. How could an ordinary second-level powerhouse see through the moves inherited from his stellar predecessor? The space he thought was suppressed was completely full of loopholes in the face of Jia Yan's space shuttle power. Jia Yan escaped through the slight gap in the opponent's spatial suppression power and directly escaped from the opponent's control. In an instant, his figure came to the opponent's back, wanting to attack. It's not that simple to attack me sneakily. Unexpectedly, this monster was already prepared. When Jia Yan came behind him, his whole body struck back and collided with Jia Yan's thrusting forefoot. So strong. Jia Yan did not expect that the opponent was extremely powerful. If his front foot had not been protected by Azure defense, he might have been broken by this blow. He flew backwards for a long distance, and then directly entered the subspace in the air. Jia Yan, You can't defeat me. Surrender to me. The five-headed monster kept roaring somewhere in the space in the battle circle. He didn't want to offend Jia Yan. After all, an opponent with Jia Yan's talent might have some powerful force behind him. Even if he didn't, Jia Yan's own talent was too terrifying. In the absence of any big festival, he didn't want to rub it against him. If the gun goes off, otherwise you will create a powerful enemy for nothing, and it may be a big trouble in the future. So much nonsense. Jia Yan looked at these five monsters in the subspace with a bit of disdain on his face. The opponent was indeed powerful, but his words were cowardly. Jia Yan looked down on such a strong man. His body kept moving in the subspace, but the opponent was also a strong person with space talent. No matter how Jia Yan moved, his eyes could quickly determine where Jia Yan was. Jia Yan suddenly appeared from the subspace. Jia Yan, you still won't admit defeat? The five-headed monster asked Jia Yan with a faint look. Of course I won't admit defeat. Jia Yan said impatiently, then looked at him, and then charged directly towards his five heads without hiding in the subspace. Jia Yan has discovered this monster's weakness. He has 5 heads in total, but among these 5 heads, only one has brainwave power, which means that this head is the opponent's main thinking organ. As long as Jia Yan destroys this head, the opponent will die. Huh? You discovered my weakness? But if you don't enter the subspace, how can you fight with me? No matter how weak I am, I will still be a strong man in the subspace. Your Majesty can't even get close to my head. This time when Guanqiang saw Jia Yan swinging at his head, he was first shocked and then showed disdain. Among his 5 heads, 3 were like attacking weapons, biting directly towards Jia Yan. Jia Yan's front feet collided with the 2 heads, and he had to retreat several hundred meters due to the force of the shock. But the other party's figure hid the head behind the body at this moment. Jia Yan, you are indeed a powerful venerable, and you even pose some threats to me, but there is still a gap between your strength and mine. If you cannot attack my real head, there is no way you can do anything to me. If you can slowly wait for failure under my attack, you should admit defeat with me now. The 5 heads of these 5 monsters all let out weird laughter, seeming to be extremely excited that Jia Yan could not defeat him. There was an inexplicable sparkle in Jia Yanfu's eyes. He had used about 70% to 80% of his strength in the moment of the previous attack, but he was still unable to do anything to the opponent. It can be seen that the tentative third place among the geniuses of Guanqiang this time is definitely not someone who has a false reputation. He stopped talking and glanced at the other party lightly. At this glance, some special signal seemed to be transmitted, which made the strong man at that time feel a slight chill in his heart. Before he could make any move, he saw the big mosquito in front of him attacking directly. I told you, if you can't attack my head, you can't defeat me. Do you think you can win in a head-on battle with a strong man like me? The 5-headed monster saw that Jia Yan continued to attack head-on without knowing what was good for him, and his expression finally showed a hint of offended and angry expression. He had given up to Jia Yan again and again, but instead of admitting defeat, Jia Yan kept attacking. As a strong person in the 2nd level, he would certainly not accept being humiliated like this. Puff! The 2 heads once again touched each other with their foreheads and a pair of front feet thrust out by Jia Yan. Sharp blue defenses are densely covered on the forefoot, especially the tip. That touch of blue is almost dazzling to others. When the blows came together this time, Guanqiang's expression suddenly shook, and before he could make any further reaction, he only felt a burst of extremely severe pain on his 2 heads. With a pop, the 2 big heads in the air fell to the ground. Not good. When the 5-headed monster saw that the 2 big heads were chopped off by Jia Yan, he was shocked. Then he saw a pair of front legs in front of him stabbing his most important head directly. I give up. Jia Yan, I give up. The monster quickly retreated and let out a horrified cry. While he was shouting, A right front foot was like a life-seeking spear, aimed at his head. If he moved forward a little further, it would be able to pierce his most important head. And just after he shouted the words of surrender, the front foot stopped firmly in front of his eyes, almost able to penetrate his eyes by just a hair. You must admit defeat in time, otherwise I will destroy this head. Jia Yan's indifferent voice reached the ears of these five-headed monsters. Oh no, now three-headed monsters. At the same time, his front feet slowly retracted. The three-headed monster looked at Jia Yan's retracted front legs in horror, especially when they saw the azure blue covering them, and the fear in their eyes flashed across them. I want to kill you. There are many ways. Let me give you a piece of advice this time. Next time, remember not to underestimate a genius. Sometimes, even a venerable is not something you can deal with. Do you understand? Jia Yan's words rang in the ears of the three-headed monster, which made him tremble, and he quickly nodded and bowed. I understand, Master Jia Yan is very powerful. I will definitely not dare to look down on others again next time. That's good. When Jia Yan finished speaking, the commentator, who had been stunned for a while on the high platform, announced the result of the battle in some shock. This time, our super venerable player Jia Yan wins again. Let's cheer for him. Following the commentator's words, the entire audience fell silent for a moment. It wasn't that they were stupid, but Jia Yan's performance made the entire audience temporarily unable to react. He even won the third place among the strong men in the second pass. Does this Jia Yan want to climb to the throne of the first pass among the strong men in one breath? You must know that the difference in strength between these five monsters and the tentatively ranked first person in the second level is only a number of 4 or 6. Jia Yan's ability to defeat these five monsters means that he has the strength to compete for the first place. Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience.